Hey everybody, I'm Justin from Dollarwise Gamers, and this is Dollarwise Bundle Breakdown. Our philosophy is that for a game to be a Dollarwise deal, you should get roughly 1 hour of enjoyment out of every dollar you spend on it. Humble Bundle is a great way to get some cool games for cheap while supporting charities and developers. I currently choose to support Doctors Without Borders. Today, we're going to look at the Humble Assassin's Creed bundle. We'll check out each tier, what games it offers, and whether or not we think that it's worth it. There are time codes in the description if you want to look at one particular game or tier. And with that, let's dive in. The first tier starts at $1 and includes the games Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, China, and Russia, as well as Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, China, and Russia all are very similar games. They're all single-player, third-person, stealth action 2.5D platformers. They're all by Climax Studios. China came out in early 2015. India and Russia both came out in early 2016. India had a Metacritic of 63, China was 67, and Russia was 53. The user reviews for these weren't much better, with a 5.8 for India, 5.1 for China, and 4.9 for Russia. They varied in prices between $4 and $5 at various times around February and March of 2016, and they all sort of basically played the same, with the exception that each assassin has their own kind of unique tools and styles of fighting. The art styles are all pretty similar, but they do have their own little special touches that sort of make it feel like you're in China or India or Russia. Despite the fact that I died a lot, I really enjoyed these games. They were a simple platforming title that utilized many similar qualities found within the Assassin's Creed universe, and the puzzles of how to navigate the levels add just the right amount of challenge. They didn't appear to have a terribly long story, but were generally fun, if not sort of simple. Honestly, I put in about an hour or so on each, and I'm pretty sure there's really not much more there. The final game in the tier is Assassin's Creed. Now, this is the quintessential original Assassin's Creed. It is single-player, third-person, stealth action 3D platformer. It was developed by Ubisoft Montreal, and it came out in early 2008. Now, its Metacritic was 79, and the user was 7.5. Best price we found it for was $4.29, and that was in October of 2016. And I originally played this game back on the Xbox 360, and it was great to see that this game was capable of running at 4K. It looked pretty, and I was reminded of how much I loved the fact that you could move about during the dialogue scenes. I would point out that there is a reason this game was well loved and launched a franchise continuing until this day. It had an interesting story, a new gameplay style, and it looked beautiful for its time. Even now, I'm playing here at 4K, and it runs well and looks good. Obviously, there are textures that aren't ready for prime time here, but this game released nearly 9 years ago. However, it's not without its faults. There were wonky camera controls, I couldn't get it to support my Xbox One controller, which totally could have been my fault, and regardless of whether or not you loved it or hated it, it had that original style of free running that was much less forgiving than some of the more current renditions in the more recent games. So what do I have to say about this? Buy. Buy. Pause the video right now and probably go buy it. Well, you might want to hold off because you might want to get some of the other tiers. But anyway, you really have zero reasons not to. The tier starts at $1. These games are great to have. The original game alone is definitely worth the price. And the 3 smaller games are entertaining enough that an hour between all 4 games is a given. Definitely a Dollarwise deal. The second tier is based on average donations. It currently sits at $8.09 and includes the additional games Assassin's Creed Liberation, Assassin's Creed 3, as well as the Tyranny of King Washington, the Infamy downloadable content, and Assassin's Creed 2 Deluxe Edition. Now, Assassin's Creed Liberation is a single-player, third-person stealth action 3D platformer. It's from Ubisoft Sofia. It came out in early 2014 with a Metacritic of 66 and a user score of 5.8. Lowest price we found was $4.29 in October of 2016. You're going to hear that a lot. This game feels and plays much better than the first Assassin's Creed, except that the graphics really haven't improved a great deal. The story's interesting and they involve you right away, but many times the jumps between gameplay and the cutscenes are extremely jarring. They kinda left me feeling like I was missing major bits of continuity. However, as the gameplay improved a great deal over the previous game, I felt better about my movements. I'm starting to feel like the teams that worked on these games really had some terrific ideas about where they wanted to take the story, but technology and gameplay wasn't keeping up with all the stories that they wanted to tell. This is not unlike Telltale Games, and the recycling of gameplay to tell new stories starts to feel old and redundant no matter how engaging a story or how talented your cast is. The newest mechanic I saw in this game was the changing clothes to suit how you were approaching a situation. Not terribly amazing, but I suppose it was something new that they were trying, and you can at least respect that. Assassin's Creed 3 is the next game, and it also includes the downloadable content Assassin's Creed 3 Tyranny of King Washington the Infamy. Also a single-player or multiplayer third-person stealth action 3D platformer. This one's from Ubisoft Montreal, came out in late 2012. The downloadable content came out early 2013. Metacritic was 80, but the downloadable content's Metacritic was 68 or 65. There weren't enough to actually get a complete Metacritic score. The user score was 6.2 for Assassin's Creed 3 and 5.8 for the downloadable content. $4.29 in October of 2016 is the best price we found, or $2.29 in October of 2016 for the downloadable content. Now, this game has some real substance, and the opening really made me want to know the story actually behind Assassin's Creed 2 much better. I finished Assassin's Creed when I was younger, back on my Xbox 360, but I never actually finished Assassin's Creed 2. Now, this one seems strong, and I can already see the semblance of why this game came away with such good reviews from critics and struggled for decent reviews from users. There were some bugs and issues within the first months of release of this game on the PC, and like many other Assassin's Creed games, this still haunts it to this day. From what I played, I was impressed, and I was having fun, and I felt powerful, and I am actually looking forward to going back and playing more of this game. All in all, it has decent graphics options, a generally engaging story, and looks pretty, and it plays as good as one comes to expect from the best examples in this series. The next game is Assassin's Creed 2 Deluxe Edition. This is a single-player, third-person stealth action 3D platformer, also from Ubisoft Montreal, and this came out in early 2010. The Metacritic was 86, and the user was 6.9. $4.29 in October of 2016 is the best price. Now, you can tell that this game is before Assassin's Creed 3. I mean, besides the name, obviously. But the gameplay doesn't really get fun until a little while into it. I was just running races and deliveries for the first hour of the game. No weapons, no assassinating. Whereas both 1 and 3 get you into the action kind of right away. As I recall, though, the story for this one was much better than the first and had you spending a lot of your time chatting up your crew outside of the Animus, and listening to a very developed story within the Animus. Skimming through the lowest ratings on Metacritic from users, there seemed to be quite a bit of outrage with Ubisoft and the DRM for this game. Nowadays, DRMs have become pretty standard, but this doesn't mean that we like them that much, and perhaps there's something to be said about DRMs and whether they should affect a game's review. I'm not sure, but would love to hear your feedback on that one. But back to the game. I did start this game up fully preparing to want to play more of it, but I was getting bored right away and really didn't want to trudge through everything just to get to the fun bits. So where does this leave us? To be honest, I'm fairly confident that you'll get at least 10 hours out of Assassin's Creed 3, even more with 2 if you hadn't played it in the past. And this means that this tier is also definitely a Dollarwise deal, and I wouldn't hesitate to pick it up. But let's see what Tier 3 has to offer. The third and final tier requires a donation of $15 and includes the games Assassin's Creed Unity and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed Unity is a single-player, multiplayer, or co-op third-person stealth action 3D platformer. It's from Ubisoft. It came out late 2014 with a Metacritic of 70 and a user review, the lowest in our history, of 3. Its best price was $10 in January of 2016, so about a year ago. So I have to say that this started off extremely promising. Perhaps all the user reviews were just some people playing this game years ago and have never gone back to see the updates. I mean, it's been 2+ years since this game released, with all sorts of issues regarding rendering and objects popping in and out of existence, faces becoming strangely distorted, and textures not loading. But I'm happy to say that only some of that still exists. However, a lot more than should exist this far into the game's life cycle. While playing, I saw slow loading textures, characters that popped in and out of existence. Clothing would constantly flop around like it was just being rendered in every time it showed up back on screen, and even character models getting stuck in objects and other characters. It would have been hilarious if this game hadn't been out since 2014 and has had plenty of time to patch these issues out. Now it's just disappointing. Now, that being said, I liked it. It was fun. I felt for the characters more than I had in a long time. The humor seemed well timed. I was pleased with the level of action right away, and I wanted to play more. I never got an opportunity to try the co-op, nor was I 100% sure about how to go about playing it in co-op, but I was pretty excited with this idea of co-op, and I was looking forward to trying more of this game in the future. Now we come to the final game of this bundle, and arguably the best. Finally, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. This game is a single-player or multiplayer third-person stealth action 3D platformer from Ubisoft Montreal, and it came out in early 2011. Its Metacritic was 88, and its user was 8.2. Pretty much the best we've seen so far. Best price was $4.29 in October of 2016. Playing this one really makes me want to go back and play all the way through Assassin's Creed 2, followed by this, and then Assassin's Creed 3. Desmond's story is good, and you can really see that Ubisoft had a big story in mind for this game. I'm not sure what happened outside of this, where they maybe branched out a little bit too much, lost control of the series and maybe the lore, but this game was fun. There were some weird bits where Ezio's cape did flutter in the wind, but maybe I'm just used to different levels of graphics nowadays, but it just seemed a bit lazy for some reason. There were some weird moments where I was trying to understand the controls, and in critical moments found myself doing strange things, but at the end of the day, this game is good, and it's entertaining. And that tier was the most fun to play through of all 3 tiers. I really liked Unity, and I wanted to play more of it. Brotherhood really ticks my box for wanting to delve deeper into Desmond's story, a story I feel that I might have missed out on, but easily at $15, this tier is worth it. So let's move on to some final thoughts. This bundle is a no-brainer, and that's really nice. The last few bundles we've reviewed haven't been quite worth it, or were worth it for a few people, but as it stands, and despite it having a lot of repetitive gameplay mechanics, there is an interesting story here, and many more than 15 hours of gameplay. Nearly every time I started playing these games, I played them for a lot longer than I intended to. And if I can find the time, I would like to return to Desmond's story. Which makes this a Dollarwise deal. No qualifiers, no maybes, no conditions. Get these games, enjoy them, and let us know which one was your favorite. And I'm really looking forward to hearing back from you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to thumbs up this video, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any suggestions for bundles, bundle sites, or games that you would like to get the Dollarwise seal of approval on, shoot us a message on our website, dollarwisegamers.com, or just comment on this video. I do still have a few games from the previous bundles I'd like to give away still, TIS 100 and Infinifactory. If you take time to comment, email, or tweet at us with your thoughts on this bundle, we'll randomly choose people and give you one of the keys, so take a moment to just scroll down and shoot us a comment. Thanks again, and as always, enjoy your existence.